So I'm gonna just tell. I'm gonna have Jalen. Jalen's gonna do my. He's doing my press conference today. So see how crowded it is here, Jay. Look how many people came to see me today. Really crowded, huh? All right, man. Let me get this done. All right. Peace. Hey, I got my flannel shirt on. Work day. All right. All right. Everybody call and check on me today. Suicide watch, I guess, huh? Well, I shouldn't even. Oh. Sure. As Dustin just said, I do want to start by wishing happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys and your families. You know, as we embark on this last opportunity for our 24 football family. Really thankful for the time that you guys have given us all year long and how you guys have the positive stories and highlights that you've put on our program. It also leads me into how, you know, I use that analogy about the map and the terrain a lot, and that when the map doesn't match the terrain, you go with the terrain. And so for us, that leads me to say, here's where we are. We're mathematically eliminated from being able to go to a bowl game. But we do have standards in our program, and one of those standards is how you finish things. And you know, as you saw, I was talking to Jalen. He called me on my way here, and he's like, "Why you got this flannel shirt on?" I'm like, "You know what? It kind of reminds me. We all, as coaches and as players, got a job to do. Finish the 24 season the best way we can." And I can think back to Vanita Locksley as you think about Thanksgiving week, and I think about my mom and how every morning she got up to go do a job working at Greater Southeast Community Hospital, where she had to walk sometimes. It was cold out. Sometimes it rained, snowed. But you know what? She just had to get up and go do her job, because if she didn't, we didn't eat. We didn't have a place to stay. And so it's kind of one of those weeks for me. As we say, how do you finish a tough season? It's been tough. We're not where we want to be. And I think anybody that's followed the program and that knows me knows that it's a really frustrating time, because we are a better team than maybe we've shown. And that at the end of it, when you probably put them all together, you'll see this season can be boiled up in probably 15, 20 plays that somehow, some way we've got to figure out how to make. But what I also do is I talk to our team about when you have a job to do. I mean, it's like, you know, I hated raking leaves. And you look out the backyard, and when I was growing up, it wasn't no blowers. It wasn't the blowers and the tarps. It was a rake, and then every now and then you find a flat shovel, which helps you get it in the trash bags. But the whole time you raked it, you were MFing everybody under the sun as a kid. Like, I hate this, why we're doing it. But then you knew the reward of it was like when you got upstairs and you looked out the window of Grandma's house, you're eating your chili and your cornbread, and you just see the yard. It's like, wow, I actually did it. Well, that's kind of what we want to get accomplished this week as a program. And I got a bunch of seniors that are all for the smoke. They're all for it. They're showing up. They're doing the work. Nobody's hanging their heads. We're all disappointed. But again, as I told you guys before, I'm going to always choose optimism. And I think this team has embraced it. Gratitude, you know, learn that you really can't take anything for granted in life. And that's what this week's about, especially the time you get with people you care about. And you know, I saw a guy like Taze, man. I saw anxiety on his face when he took his senior picture, because the unknown for some of these guys is they've been in a really safe place. They've been in a cocoon here where I've seen these kids grow up, and I've kind of grown up with them, as I've said before. And talking to a lot of guys about it, particularly the seniors, I just think we need to be grateful for every second we have left together. And it's coming to a close. We like to bring it to a close the right way. Talks about something about how to finish, how you finish, looking out, seeing the yard perfectly raked, and just having a little sense of pride. And so, you know, a great opportunity against a team that has opportunity to go to playoff opportunities, championship game implications, and, you know, great opportunity, a way to finish your career and going up to Penn State. Obviously, I go way back with James, very familiar with him as a person, and always enjoy competing against him and his team. Everyone in our building has a lot of respect for their team, a lot of strong relationships, obviously, from guys playing against each other or together. They're extremely balanced in what they do. Good defense. Tom Allen, former head coach, is over there taking over for Manny, and they've done a good job. I think they're number 2 in scoring defense, top 5 in scoring offense, and was really impressed with the way they finished a couple of games this year. You look back and see the USC game, and then you see the game against Minnesota. They've played in some really been battle tested in some really tough, close games, and for us, what a great way to finish our 24 season is to go up there and compete against a playoff caliber team to really kind of see where we measure up. And I expect our guys to compete. We tend to play up, which I hate, and that's one of the consistencies that we got to get fixed. But I expect us to, and the captains that will be leading us up into Penn State will be Caden Prather, Josh Kaltenberger, Tajay Johnson, and Quayshawn Fuller will serve as our game captains going up to State College. So with that, happy Thanksgiving to all, and I will open it up to Dave's question of the day. Save it, Dave.
Mike, health-wise for excuse me, for Billy, how's he doing? What's the prognosis for him?
He practiced yesterday. Yesterday was more of a walkthrough practice for us, as it was planned that way. He's still a little bit banged up, but what I've seen, Billy's been banged up all year, and I don't very rarely talk injuries, but he had back surgery back in May, and a couple things didn't get cleared till July, and really he fought through all year with some of these things, and I expect him to fight through to try to make himself available this weekend. If he doesn't, and obviously MJ will be prepared to take over and lead us into the game if Billy can't go.
And obviously the wins are the most important, but for personal accolades as far as Ty goes, is there an emphasis to try to get him that single-season receiving record, given what he's meant to the program and all that kind of his loyalty and commitment to the program?
I didn't even know that there was something on the table about it. Okay, I didn't even know that, and it shows you kind of guy Ty is because it hadn't come up. Dustin, I don't know if you shared that with me yet, but he probably didn't because he knew that I wouldn't really talk about it. But no, I mean, obviously, personal awards are great, and I think for Ty and knowing what he's been through, and it'd be great to help him. But the emphasis will be on trying to win the game, and if those things happen within the framework of doing that, that's how it typically happens. So I expect Ty to give his best this weekend as he plays most likely in his last game as a Terp. So I'll be there to help if possible, but the emphasis is on let's try to figure out how to win it.
Mike, your defense faces another team that's really good on the ground this Saturday, Singleton and Allen. What makes those two guys special? How do they work together as a tandem?
In the Big Ten, man, big backs, heavy-handed, running. They both those guys have finishing speed. They run with power, size, and then you throw 44 in the mix. That's one of the things that when you look at them, 44 is a guy they put in there as the wildcat quarterback slash, and he's taken some of those carries away from those guys, and he's just as talented. So you look at 3 heavy-handed finishers this time of year in the Big Ten. Obviously, we expect them to try to run the ball. They're very balanced in what they do, and they don't put themselves in harm's way a lot and have a unique scheme. They do a lot of exotic formations that create leverage and numbers at times, and so we've got to just be really clean in our alignments and with our eyes. But really good scheme. Guy from Kansas coming up, and you just can see that they put stress on defenses through exotic formations and how they line up.
And you mentioned their defense previously. I think they're 4th in the Big Ten against the pass, 5th against the run. What sort of challenges will they?
Yeah, I mean, they've got some really talented at all 3 levels. I think they hit home runs in the portal with some of the corners they got. They got really good safeties, the linebackers, and then obviously the front 7 of their team is a strength, and it has been for a while. And with Tom taking over for Manny as the D coordinator, you can just see like he put his personality on it, but some of the same concepts, and they do a great job on the defensive end. For us, it's going to be important that we find ways to create manufacture some explosive plays, which has just been the missing piece of our offense here the last 3-4 weeks, is just our inability to create the explosives that we had going on earlier in the year.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
you've had the three bowl games and, had time to take with your seniors then ahead of those games, I imagine. Is there something that you'll do? I know it's Thanksgiving week, but something that you'll do this week where you'll kind of be together with those guys one final time before their final game Saturday?
You know what? Haven't thought about it. Just trying to take in each day as we prepare for Penn State. It's a different feel and environment, knowing mathematically that this is it for us, so it brings a finality to it. But no, I haven't put a lot of thought into it, other than I know that this has been a special group for me as a coach. And as I said, this was the group that kind of I grew up with as a coach. And but I also caution that, and I've said this to Damon, what got us here won't get us there. And that's, to me, the moving forward, the optimism that I have is that what got this program to where it is today, for us to go to the championship level of brand of ball, you don't get stronger lifting the same weight. You got to keep adding and improving and elevating. And to me, this game here kind of gives us an opportunity, because you'll have a great opportunity against a really good team that has a chance to play and make the playoffs. So.
And speaking of that, they're number 4 in the country, but this league better than anybody. The Minnesota team plays them to within a point last week. Is there anything you can glean from those types of games that they've played, or is it still kind of Terps versus Terps and you guys doing your thing?
It's still us versus us. I mean, we played a really tough Oregon team, really, really tight and close. Sometimes you look at our scores, and I think you forget to see that it's a 6-point game against Iowa with 9 minutes to go. All right, you go into the Indiana game, the score wasn't what that was early in the game, and then kind of once the wheels fall off. So, it's going to be interesting, as we got to get through this one and do the work. We got to get up, put the flannel on, the work jacket with locks on the jacket, and go get this work done. But I'm also looking forward to kind of diving into this thing and figuring out what got us here, what I need to do to get us there. And I'm excited about it. I think you'll see it isn't that far away, because if you look at this O-line and the way they've kind of started to come together, you look at some of the play of the young corners on the back end, these are the battle-tested scars that, next year will be better for it, and it sucks for this year for us. But and then you go out and have a chance with my hunting jacket to go out and see if I can find a couple pieces to add. And, one thing I do know is help is on the way.
Hey, Coach. I know, obviously, you get a chance to, going into the season, you talked a lot about, Nolan Ray and his kind of potential. Obviously, in this past week, you got a chance to put together some pretty successful runs, especially in the second half there. I'm just kind of curious, from just seeing him every day in practice, where have you kind of seen him grow, kind of from, maybe week 1 till now?
Yeah, I think the biggest place is 2 weeks ago, and I even told this story. I don't know where I told it, but we were in the middle of a blitz pickup, and we got some really heavy-handed young linebackers, 16, Daniel Wingate and Kiari James and Flowers. These guys are really big, heavy-handed, dense guys, and they're on our scout team playing linebackers, so they're giving us the look. Well, a couple weeks ago in the blitz pickup period, I just heard one of the loudest collisions of all year, and it was Nolan and Kiari James in the A-gap, and it was a collision. And, Nolan got the best of that one and kind of came back, and it was almost like an aha moment. Like, what, when young running backs learn to play without the ball, that's when you start to see them come along. And that's, that was a big-time pickup, a scout team deal, but it was the first time I saw him put his hands, and be really physical, and it was almost like, wow. And I think from that point on, I've started to see him. It's like when Roman came on into the Virginia Tech game, and all of a sudden he hit the scenes. And I feel like that's the direction I've seen Nolan going the last couple of weeks. But it also has also been tied to the young O-line, the Hershey's, the Therese Davises, the Balls, and Alan Haran, who had a tough day a week ago. But that tough day will benefit us.
Like, is there a certain point if the game goes sideways where you want to put in some young players who haven't got much playing time, to see what they can do?
Well, we do that in practice, Ed, and to be honest, that's why we practice the way we do. And I respect the game too much that when you do make those type of changes and switches, it's not because of the course of the game. It's because you want to continue to develop other players, and that's what we've done around here a lot. And it's kind of been the secret sauce for when you you build your team through the draft, which is when you build it through high school players. The secret sauce is how do you develop them quick, and the only way you do it is when you practice the 1s and 3s, 2s and 4s, and these reps become kind of foundational pieces in practice. Once you get into a game, if we're afforded the opportunity to get a player 10 to 15 plays in a game, I think that's always great for us and how we develop. But they got to be the right time at the right place.
And you mentioned how difficult this season has been for you. Is it just the record, or is there something else that's been the most challenging
it's just we
part?
underachieved, and I'm the leader of a bunch that I had high expectations for. You know, because I want it for them. It's like a parent, you want your kids to have success, and they worked. I mean, it wasn't because we didn't work. It was because we didn't necessarily work to the level at which we're capable or make the plays that were there. And some of it, you know, as I've said, once we get through this game, it'll be interesting to be able to go through it. But I can tell you, you know, you look at this season, and there's probably a handful, 15, 20 plays that will dictate kind of the way this season went, and it's just a matter of making those plays in our favor being the difference.
Mike, it's been a less than ideal season. What do you, as far as where this program is, your building of it, what are you thankful for as far as how things have developed this
You know what, as I've said before, man, to be able to be a head coach that, you know, get a second chance to be a head coach, and when I talk about growing up with these group of seniors, I mean, I came here in 2019, and obviously the program where it was at that time, you know, and to see, I sold a dream to these guys, and to see that the work of that dream, where they put this program on a foundation, because that's what I was selling. I was selling the dream. So I'm really thankful for the parents, the kids, the ones that are here still, and even the ones that came for a short season or for a season of playing a small role in creating a foundation that we actually have expectations, man. We're sitting here disappointed about how we played this year, and you know, it's always ask yourself the question: is it a better place than when you came here? And so I'm really thankful that this opportunity was presented to me, but even more thankful for the tons of kids that have come through this program over the last 5, 6 seasons with me to help me rebuild Maryland football and create a foundation that I feel really confident that we'll be able to build on.
And one of the few bigger challenges than building a football program in the Big Ten, constructing a Thanksgiving table, especially with NIL, with transfers now. Has that affected your ability to put together the correct amount of sides?
It has, man, because, you know, this group with the portal and the amount of NIL involved, these guys don't eat Kraft macaroni and cheese out the box anymore. They have a really high palate taste for high-end food. So a little caviar here, you know, fine Cabernet, Silver Oak on the side, you know, something really nice. But no, we'll do Thanksgiving really well. We're actually doing it at my house because I got to get on a bus the next morning, and I didn't feel like driving all the way down to Fort Washington to the Outlaws' house and hang out down there. So I'll get to hide around my house and eat, go kind of take a nap somewhere, and not have to, you know, worry about a place to take a nap and be comfortable.
And a follow-up, you took over the play calling duties earlier this season on the field. Have you also taken over the play calling duties at the table? Do you script the first 15 bites?
Well, I tell you what I did do is I did some preliminary scouting, and, you know, I know this place called Grill Marks that I'm a big fan of this place across the street, and they've got an executive chef named Doug, and, you know, Doug makes this turducken, all right? Turducken is a turkey that's stuffed with chicken and duck and stuffing, and so I saw it, like, for some reason, I don't know why this, is it X or Twitter or whatever, but, like, things just keep popping up. I was thinking about the turkey, and then turducken thing pops up, and I'm like, so I screenshot it and sent it to Doug and said, hey, can I get 4 of these turduckens? So Dougie Fresh is going to hook me up with a turducken over there at Grill Marks. You should try it. Great place, I heard, to go for watching. Before you go watch Derek Queen, you should stop at Grill Marks, all right? But no, the turducken is the thing this year. It's, you know, I got 4 of them too. So I got a few players that may be stopping over, and we'll get to see if old Chef Doug knows what he's doing, because you got to put that Cajun kind of shot in it. It's a kind of a New Orleans style deal. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, the cap.